Welcome to another episode of The Faces of ROCOR. Today I am recording with my assistant producer, Nico. This is my 7-month-old son who just celebrated his first name's day on St. Nicholas Day, December 19th. And since today's show is entirely dedicated to St. Nicholas, I figured why not bring him on board. He is very interested to see what's happening here, so we'll try and get through this as best as we can. Before I forget, we are giving away a beautiful, absolutely stunning icon of St. Nicholas. You can actually see it right here behind me. Make sure you stay tuned until the end so that you can find out how you can get this icon. It's actually very, very simple. Still. Okay, he's saying, Papa, all this is boring. Let's get to the good stuff. St. Nicholas. On this little guy's name's day, I was in church. And this little boy comes up to me and he says, can you give a letter to Santa? I'm looking at this kid saying Santa. He goes, I mean St. Nicholas. I'm like, St. Nicholas? And the boy looks at me and he says, he kind of has a smile on his face and says, I figured it out. I said, figured what out? What are you talking about? He goes, the skeet. You know, where Santa lives, and St. Nicholas and Vladika, and I'm like, whoa, what are you talking about? He goes, I found the clues. And this it completely caught me off guard because I'm like, what clues are you talking about? And he says, well, look at the map, the secret map. And if you got one of these yellow envelopes in the mail, if you didn't, by the way, just let me know, we'll send one out. This had all the details of the skeet appeal, and inside was what my daughter calls a super secret map. Now, this little boy assured me that there are clues on this map that reveal the fact that Santa Claus is at the skeet. I started thinking about it for a few days. It drove me crazy. What was this boy talking about? I needed to find the clues for myself. And what I found is unbelievable. Unbelievable. I discovered a legend, a story about St. Nicholas, one that has never been told before. Yes, we're getting there. You see, he's like, Pop, stop being so dramatic. Just get to the story. Anyway, we have this unbelievable story about St. Nicholas. But first, this guy needs to take a nap. So get your kids and tell them to get ready. We're going to tell this amazing story as soon as I put this guy down. Hold that thought. Okay, we're back. So, in order to solve the mystery of Santa at the skeet, I realized that I had to start thinking like a child. Now, fortunately for me, I happen to have a 3-year-old daughter named Angelina, and she absolutely loves the skeet. So she was my secret weapon. If I could think like she does, I had a chance of figuring out what this little boy was talking about.
На паломничество едешь?
Да.
Ты любишь скит? А кто еще в скиту, кроме Зацика?
Владыка.
Владыка? Какой владыка?
Владыка район.
Владыка район здесь?
Да.
Ты любишь владыку?
Да.
Anytime we go visit the skeet, I take little videos of her. And over the last few days, I have been studying those clips very, very carefully because I wanted to see if I could, how do I say this without totally destroying my entire career right now? I wanted to see if I could find Santa in those clips. Yeah, sounds crazy. I wanted to see if I could find Santa in those clips. There you go. I said it. Take a look at this clip that I'm going to show you right now. This was taken in July. You see, kids look at the world very differently. They see things that you and I don't see. Here's what Angelina saw at the skeet in July.
Ты видишь?
Я вижу.
Кого ты видишь?
Владыка.
А?
Владыка иду.
Где Владыка?
Иди, иду.
Идем. Here's the amazing part about that clip. Vladika Ilarion was not at the skeet when that was shot. Neither was Otец Tikhon. As a matter of fact, the only two human beings that were at the skeet at that moment were Angelina and I. So if she didn't see Vladika Ilarion, which Vladika did my daughter see? And that's when I remembered. Do you know who else is a Vladika, a bishop? Saint Nicholas. And if you're my daughter, Saint Nicholas and Santa Claus are the same person. So there you have it. Clue number 1. After seeing that video clip, I kept digging. And that's when I found this photo. What's happening in this photo? Father Tikhon is giving my daughter a gift. Now, what do you think is in that bag? Are you ready? It's a puppy. Father Tikhon gave my daughter a puppy. But here's the interesting part. It's not this little guy. It's what he said about this puppy. Father Tikhon told Angelina that Deda Moroz, Santa Claus, left this puppy for her at the skeet. At the time, I didn't really think much of that. But this past week, when I found that photo, I looked at the timestamp. Here's the problem. It was February. Now, why would Santa Claus be at the skeet in February, leaving gifts for children? That's the second clue. Something just didn't add up. Now, when I asked the Otец Tikhon about it, he just smiled. He would not go on camera. All I wanted was an interview to explain to him how you got this gift from Santa. He had no problem telling Angelina that he met Santa Claus in the woods and he had this whole exchange with him and he left a present and etc., etc. But he wouldn't talk to me about it. So I had no answers. And so the search continues. Now, this past weekend, this is when everything really changed. Angelina and I were getting ready to go to the skeet. And all of a sudden, she pulls out this map.
Скит.
Скит, а кто там?
Дед Мороз.
Дед Мороз, кто еще там?
Зайчик.
И кто еще? At this point, I thought I was starting to lose my mind. Because why are all the children all of a sudden walking around with these secret maps trying to find Santa at the skeet? I'm not going to lie, I was probably just as curious as they were. And so we get to the skeet on Sunday. We sang the liturgy, just her and I. After the service, all she wanted to do was go find Santa. So I obliged. And we went through the skeet, we're walking around the woods, we're trying to find Santa, and there was absolutely no sight of him whatsoever. Until at the last second, we spotted something. Take a look at what we saw. Are you seeing this? No way. I think Santa left his hat. Now, I know what you're going to say. You just went ahead, you snuck out there, you hung up this Santa hat, and you wanted to make it look like Santa dropped his hat here. I don't blame you. However, on the way back, we ran into my dear friend, Father Dmitry Krenitsky, who happens to be the deacon at the skeet. And at this point, I had had enough. I needed to get answers. And this is what Father Dimitri had to say. Give me the true story, Father. You're a deacon here. Is Santa Claus real, and does he come to the skeet?
Well, I don't know if it's Santa Claus per se, but I was here one day looking for Father Tikon in Vladika Metropolit. And I was walking past the cemetery, and a monk came out from among the trees. And he had a white bushy beard and thick white hair.
Yeah, but there's only 2 monks here.
This is what I was questioning. So I asked him, I said, Father, your blessing. And he gave me his blessing. And he looked a little chubby. And he asked who I was, and I told him and who I was looking for. And he said, well, they're not here. And I said, oh, well, Father, are you a friend of our metropolitans and Father Tikon's? And he said, yes, I know them. He said, I used to come by here, and then I stopped for a long while because no one was here. He said, and then when I saw the lights on and I heard singing coming from church, and I saw candles lit, then I started to build my small kelia in the woods. And I said to him, well, Father, where's your kelia? And he said, well, I can't tell you. He said, I keep it secret. And I said, oh, are you a member of the Brotherhood here? And he said, well, you can say that. I'm attached here. And I said, well, what's your obedience? And he said, the children. The children are my obedience. And I said, well, Father, what do you do for the children? And he said, well, I make them things. And I said, well, like what? And he said, some dolls, maybe some toys. I said, really? I said, well, how come Father never mentioned any of this to me? He said, well, I need to go now. He said, I have work to do.
Did he mention his name by any chance?
He didn't mention his name. And I said, then I heard a door slam, and I turned back to look at the parking lot, and when I turned back, there was nobody there. Pretty amazing. And I noticed we have an awful lot of deer at the monastery. And they all come from the same section where I saw this monk disappear.
Well, hold on, Father. There's the secret map about the skeet, and there's codes on that map, secret clues. Like there's a reindeer there. Now, people tell me that there can't possibly be reindeer in New Jersey. Is that true?
Well, I don't know what type of deer they might be, but I know we have an awful lot here. More than one. More than one, for sure.
And if you had to pass a message along to the children, what's the most important thing to remember about Santa Claus, Christmas?
Well, you have to remember, first, always your prayers. Always say your prayers. What do your parents tell you? You say your prayers. You say them when you get up. You say them when you go to bed. And maybe in a few days, you're going to get a surprise from one of the monks who makes toys.
I can't confirm whether or not Santa is real and if Santa and St. Nicholas are the same person. But I can tell you that there are a lot of clues and a lot of unanswered questions at the skeet. For example, who is this monk whose obedience is to make toys? The whole mystery behind Santa Claus, St. Nicholas, is quite interesting because St. Nicholas's actual life is somewhat of a mystery. Historians can't even agree on what year he was born in. There's so much that we don't know. But what we do know about St. Nicholas is that he helps everyone who asks him for help. Think about it. Thousands of people have their prayers heard by St. Nicholas every hour. It's unbelievable. I don't think there's another saint in the Orthodox world who is so loved and revered as St. Nicholas. Why? What's so special about him? He didn't leave any writings behind, no great sermons, nothing like that. He just did good. He did good deeds. He tried to help people. And that's the same thing that you did after the last episode of The Faces of ROCOR. You see, in the last episode where we talked about Velika's dream house, I told you that we needed 50 more donors, monthly donors, to reach our goal. As of today, we only need 18. Thank you so much to everyone who signed up. And if there are 18 people out there watching this right now, please go to our website. The address is right here on the screen, and sign up today. We're so close. I would also like to thank Father Jonah Campbell at Damascene Gallery for providing this absolutely beautiful icon of St. Nicholas, which we will be giving away to one of you. I don't want to go on for too long about the unbelievable quality of this icon because there is a fantastic video on YouTube. The link is in the description of this video. You have to go see how this icon is made. What Father Jonah and the staff at Damascene Gallery are doing is absolutely amazing. But here's what you have to do to get this icon. You see, St. Nicholas, even though we don't know a lot about his life, we know a lot about the miracles that he continues to perform every single day. In fact, I'm convinced that just about every single person watching this video has experienced some kind of miracle or received help from St. Nicholas in some way. Could be something small, could be something big. Here's what you have to do. Tell us your story. Email us at the address right here. You have until January 1st. We will choose the best story, and it will be featured in an upcoming episode, and you will get this icon. Thank you so much for watching this show. Please subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like us on Facebook, and to all of our friends who are on the new calendar, celebrating Christmas, Merry Christmas. Christ is born. To those of us on the old calendar, hang in there. We're almost there. Thank you so much. God bless you.